Okay, mic test. Alrighty, this video is for grade 10 Criterion A Unit 2. This particular project is an SMA. While I'm doing it, I'll be referring to the default Criterion A, but of course we have our very own for the specific project. Alright, this paper, it does have some of the common problems students make in the research plan of that carries the most points, as well as your design brief. But this paper actually has a really good design brief. So although the student made the common mistakes for the research plan, it still came out with a 7. Alright, let's go through this one. Strand 1. Explain and justify the need for your SMA PSA to your specific audience. Of course, by default, remember, you still have to state your problem, you still have to state your solution. Of course, you have to justify all that. So just because it's not stated in your rubric, it still has to be there. You know this from grade 9 or from middle school. Alright, bouncing through this paper, we said good. He gets straight to the point. Stop motion exists for a long time. He highlighted his major problem. What's really good about how he wrote this paper, the sentences are just like to the point. Like, this makes the earth less suitable place for life, threatening our own existence. Boom, straight to the point. This is raw material that has already been extracted, thrown away for no reason. Boom, again, to the point. Like, his sentences are just short, brisk. I even said it. Nice, brisk sentences. Alright, just get straight to the point. Highlights the solution. What his intended solution, sorry. Alright, see, justification for a solution. Good job. And I also like how he puts in this one-liner, his conclusion. Pretty much like wraps up everything he said in all of this in one go. So you have to just, what's my solution? Boom. What's my problem? Boom. What's my target audience? Boom. Like, just hit all those out the park in one go, and you're on your way. You don't need to you don't need to write a trilogy textbook. Okay? Well done. Straightforward. Justified. Problem stated. Gets directly to the point with the intended solution. That's all you need. How many pages was this? This was, and he started like halfway down the page. Well, not halfway, like a quarter way down the page. So if we put that quarter back up, it was a page and a quarter, which is awesome. You don't need 5 pages to state your problem. Like, that just means you don't know exactly what your problem is. Okay, second we have our research plan. Here is where most students make their mistakes. Alright, so he starts off with his link. That's very good. The issue with this one was he has his secondary source, but what's your primary source? Alright, remember in Unit 1, the very first assignment you do, we pretty much emphasize that you get the structure for your research plan correct, which he has here. Alright, he has his structure, like, what's my question, what's my source, the purpose, value limitation, which is pretty much pros and cons, and you summarize it, you justify. Alright, so his wording is a little different, but he still has all of them. Alright, let's say that again. Has the question, has sources, purpose, or like the reasoning or the logic behind it, pros and cons, and justify. And he has his links. Okay, if you jump back to the default, that's your detailed research plan right there. On Unit 2, we really emphasize you guys put in your primary, secondary sources. This is Unit 2, so obviously he has his secondary, but he doesn't have his primary. Alright, on your Unit 3, we're really going to hit you hard for that prioritizing. We're not really hitting you hard right now because it's a learning thing. So this paper, research plan is there, has its secondary, but the primary is not there. All right, not really. In unit 2, we're not really like hitting you very hard for this, so we overlook that for a bit. So that's the thing that's wrong here. Everything else is awesome. Actually, let me see what my comments were. Only one source, where is the link? So clearly I didn't see that the first time. And I see it now. And yep, here's the link. Okay, so I didn't see it the first time. I am human, people. Pros and cons given, very good. And justified, nicely done. All right, so his first question, very good. What's this? Full marks for the first research question. Do you have, see, like I said, you got your points right here for the first one. Can you keep it up? And yes, he does. If you go through, he pretty much repeats the same procedure for every question, having the links for everyone. But like we said before, he only gave a single source, which is a common problem for most students. But the focus for him was obviously to get this research plan, the detailed research plan, like nailed down. And he did that perfectly. So this was really good. He got a 6. Only reason, because he didn't have that second source. But most students usually get a 6 right here. If you had both sources, and you nailed everything down, as in no empty boxes, and you're looking at a 7 or 8. If you perfect it, you'd have an 8. All right, jumping down to strand 3. This is your analyzation section. Have your link, that's good. Has its picture, that's good. But right here, yeah, that's a no-no. Don't list. If you use a box, it's way better, but do not list. Listing is bad. Listing limits you to a level 4. However, in this case, you can see his list was very extensive, very detailed. So he was actually given really good information in his list. Same pattern again, has its pictures, has its links, but he's listing. That's not good. We come down here. Justification is good, but you didn't have this in the one above. So he missed it in the one above, but he has it right here. And here's the funny thing about this particular paper. You saw those first two, how the first one was short, the second one is a little longer, the third one gets longer. So he's like getting into the groove. He realizes what he's doing. The downside is he's listing it. So although all the information's here, listing it, you actually limit yourself. But this was really good, and the pictures are good. Everything was stated. He had his pros, his cons, and he actually justified it all. So in the end, he got a 6, unfortunately, and is actually being soft on him because he's listing, so he should actually get a 4. However, had the pros, the cons, the links, the pictures, the justifications. All right, it would have been a complete 8 if he did not list. So he had everything. Couldn't give a 4 for this, for having all the information. So being logical, being soft, he got a 6. If he did not list it, it would have been an 8. All right, so all the information is actually there. It's just unfortunate that he lists. Do not list, people. Do not list. Jumping down to the final one. Why I really like this paper is because the design brief was pinpoint accurate. This is where majority students make most of their mistakes in Criterion A, as in 75 to 80% of students make their issues is in the design brief. And just to give you a summarized form, which actually what the design brief is, it is a summary. Problem was summarized. So he just summarized this problem right there. His intended solution summarized. And then he came right here, target audience. linked to the problem and the solution, summarize. And then we jump down here, the need for the SMA, which is what the project is about, summarized. Done. All right. However, for this paper, he went into talking about like what is an SMA again. He didn't have to do that here, but like I said, he's just making sure that he covered all his bases. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, he pretty much just went through it again, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Right here, he hits his one-liner, design brief conclusion in a single statement. Boom, done. And it's that easy, guys. And you get an 8. Summarize your problem, summarize your solution, summarize what your project is pretty much about while you link them back, and call it a day. And that's your design brief. And he did this in almost 3, you can call it 3 pages, but like I said, could have been done in 2. He did not need this, but he was covering his bases, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yep, and he has his sources. Actually, before we even grade papers, the first thing we do is slide all the way to the bottom, ensure the resource is there. If the resources are your works cited, if they're not there, teachers just give you a paper and move on. And well, I knew this was here because obviously I graded it before. But when we open papers, all your teachers for Criterion A, we open your paper, the first thing we do is slide to the bottom. We don't even read it. Slide to the bottom. If this is not here, we go 0 and move on to the next paper. We don't even read it. If you don't have your sources, as in your works cited or your bibliography, whatever you call it, depending on where in the world you started your education, if you do not have your works cited in Criterion A, it is a automatic 0. Even if you spent 5 hours the day before it was due to turn it in, and your parents call and said you spent 5 hours working on this paper, if you do not have your work cited, it is a automatic 0. Alrighty. And just a reminder to everyone, guys, when you're doing your projects, regardless of the whatever the concept of your project is, always look at the default rubric. Students always like, it wasn't stated in the rubric. As in this one, the modified one, this is to help guide you on your project. But the default always stands. Alright? That's not a valid reason. Don't make excuses that it wasn't in the rubric. It's your job as a student to look at the default. Alright? This is the one that all your projects in every subject is built on. Always look at the default. Anywho, really hope this helped. Not feeling too well.